It's an edgy game that it's like, first of all, it's overly edgy for no reason. And second off, some of the best dungeons in Zelda history are between some of the worst, most pointless, like, nonsense in the game.
Also, like we talked about before, because of pettiness, this, like, because of Egoraptor. Thank you for that, dipshit. There's this, stupid belief that, not Drawing says that Ocarina of Time is, like, the bad, like, stinky baby hand-holding game. The bad, stinky baby hand-holding game is actually Twilight Princess. That's the one that...
Also, I believe we missed a piece of heart just out in the middle of the desert.
We'll know when we find it.
Search, man. What are you searching for?
Oh,
I don't know. Oh no, when I find it. I couldn't find it. Can you help? It's just stupid Mega Man boss interviews. Oh, hey, snap.
You could keep walking.
No. We must stamp. Thanks, Snap Guy.
Anyway, like I was saying, the one that feels like it's linear to the point of being a detriment because the developers hate you and you will play the game their way, that's Twilight Princess, not Ocarina of Time.
Yes. Ocarina of Time has such few checks and balances, you can really go more or less anywhere. It's an old as fuck Let's Play. And eventually I want to re-record Ocarina of Time just to get a slightly better recording, because the beginning of Ocarina of Time has some mic peaking. First of all, there's just cave right here.
That's kind of evil game. I love it.
Redheads are vulnerable to fire.
You could use the fire Wizrobe at that point, or some other fire enemy. Or I guess if you want a low cost thing, the fire, like...
Thanks, bud.
And also because that was a decently strong enemy, that also didn't take a fucking eternity.
Back to the whole overall point. Twilight Princess is designed in a way that's super linear, which I don't have a problem with. Like, Ocarina of Time, which I want to redo, but what I was saying, the Let's Play is still up. It is a Let's Play of Ocarina of Time that we did years ago, and I stop all the time. And I stop all the time. And I just go around and I collect stuff. And because of my constant collecting of stuff,
Aw, they have self-preservation.
yeah.
What you say, damn it, it's actually good.
Well, actually, and the funny thing, if those tornado guys go up there,
the enemy's to leave, so now it's not going to target them, so that's actually good.
These guys are hilarious because they yeet, but yeeting means something goes in a pit. Anyway, Ocarina of Time, the Let's Play is still up. Eventually, me and Carson will re-record that game. Because that was some of the first, like, YouTube type stuff I ever did. At points, the audio, kinda bad. Which is just the nature of learning to edit and everything. But, like, I think it's a perfectly fine Let's Play. Going around looking for anything we missed. One of the only spots I don't think we checked was up on
Yeah, I think it might be up there. Or if not, up
there.
there.
No, it's not up there. Okay.
But there are other floating platforms. Like,
Hold on.
around it, so... Oh,
Is
yeah.
it? Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Again, I never said you were wrong. Just wasn't up on the one. But, okay. Ocarina of Time, we played. And while I mostly do things in a somewhat linear order, because of the way I've always played that game, so much of that game, I just go around and do stuff. Because Ocarina of Time has almost no real checks and balances. You can do almost anything in almost any order. If you know what you're doing, you can do almost anything in almost any order in Ocarina. And this goes back to, and I will continue to make fun of this person. One, because this was sort of so far removed, and I don't think they ever stuck around to watch stuff. And even then, a lot of people... Yeah, there's a rift up over there. Tend to forget things. I think there's also a heartbeat in the desert we missed. Like, go around, do some side quests, look for some stuff. I think fun of this one person because I was in a stream and someone was playing Ocarina of Time and they were taking tips and tricks and stuff. And the tip, it's up there, but it's...
You can just climb.
Hold on. Fucking falling rocks. Damn it. Okay, good.
Good, no RNG.
Basically, someone was playing Ocarina of Time, and I brought up the Let's Play we did. Because I said I always get the big Goron sword after becoming an adult. I brought up I like going around and getting the big Goron sword after becoming an adult because I've always enjoyed doing that. Good. That's always been something I loved doing, was getting the big Goron sword as an adult, like as soon as it's available. And I talked about that because that is entirely possible without glitches or exploits. The game is just that open. But I brought up a lot of people are not actually aware. Oh, Fire Wizard.
Well, it looks like when you come out of that cave, gonna have a Wizard battle again. Everyone loves a good wizard battle.
Thanks a lot, bud.
You should teleport. If Are you going to teleport to a good location? Yeah.
Yes!
There we go.
Okay. Oh, hold on. There. Shoot him! Oh, man.
Ow.
Go get him, you idiot. I know it's because of the kind of awkward position, but like,
Yes.
Christ almighty. Hold on.
Get out of the enemy's range. Except now I'm stuck in the hole.
Okay, so that does mean
Any day now.
at this point you should teleport. Or not.
Tends to teleport if he misses.
Okay, so you're just being an idiot. Alright. Then, in order to fix things, these guys drop bombs. Okay, the wind's blowing it, it's fine.
Maybe try to hold one of the bomb dropping enemies.
Actually, we are technically over. Hold on. Do a fucking buzz blob. Because the angle is confusing, but good. Okay. I can make my wider point in a minute. Damn it. Good. Get that one. And now... Yeah.
Just drop a rock.
I'm trying to... Yeah. Four box. Okay. Fly up. Touch. Okay.
Touch.
Don't touch. What I was going to say. Back to the point because I was trying to focus. Ocarina of Time, I brought up you can get the big Oron sword out of order because you can get the big Oron sword out of order.
Because they're floating, can you fly with them?
No.
Of course not. That would have been great though. They give you a vent right there.
Technically, P-hat, fly, drop down. Where's Road Battle?
What the fuck are you both aiming at? Seriously, what the fuck are you both aiming at? And there he goes.
Good. Okay, back to the story I'm doing. So, I bring up you can get the big Orion sword early without glitches because you can. I bring up that you can get it if you go out of your way to get it. And I always get it after becoming an adult because the quest just triggers if you start it. So as soon as you're an adult, you can go around the map and get it if you know what you need to do to get the big Goron sword. Because that's true. And I'm in a stream and I bring that up. And this person in the stream that knows a lot about Ocarina of Time, like I do, comes up and basically goes like, they were in the stream like, no, you can't do that. The big Goron sword like triggers later on in the game. You're lying. It's not available at the beginning. I know the game well. It's just not available. I'm like, it is available. And they're like, no, it's not available. Check some of those riffs. And then
there were so many riffs here.
And then I'm like, it is available. I get it in a Let's Play. And I said that Let's Play is still up, and I get it without glitches, and they have this obnoxious kind of first plot.
Because we're actually here, plot.
And then I make fun of the first
Well, plot was a few asterisks.
So, I'm like, yes, you can get the big Goron sword. You can. A lot of riffs. So here, where are you, my sweet? Rift? Oh, Dark Thorns. Sweet spot up north. Okay. Then we'll just go up here, do the plot for 5 minutes, do some riffs. Anyway, so I'm like, yeah, you can get the big Goron sword early, because you can. And I said I did it in a Let's Play. Do you have a quest? No. And the person says you can. And I'm like, you can, because you can. So then, when I say you can, let's see what that card says.
They just said if they're in wetlands, it just seems like, yeah, they're just not worried about the area. Because it wasn't.
Search for the entrance to the rifts. If it's targeting here, then they're. We can warp around. Let me go back here on. Check some of those other rifts. Make fun of the one person. So, basically, the person in the chat has this annoying. Alright, let me see what you said again. Yeah. Rift? A lot more at the sweet spot up north.
That would be that giant rift, especially because there's a warp point right in front of it. I take it would probably be that.
Yeah,
one.
we could probably mend this if we go over sideways. I'm gonna heal first. So, gives me a minute to continue. And I know I'm being kind of petty, but it's like, so I'm repeating it to go back to where I was talking. So I said, you can basically get, check, yeah, this rift as well, which has like monsters coming out of it. Yep, okay, it's just one of the monster summoning ones. So, go check the big one over here then. Anyway. Alright.
You're right next to water if you... Yeah.
Okay. Heal again. Trying to finish my point. I've done this before, but it's always fun to tell this because I will continue to be a petty bitch about this. So, well, one more dumb thing now that I can summon the one wind guy for really cheap. You summon a bed, get on the edge of the bed, like we've done. I hit the boundary, but you get the point. You can gain, like, stupid amounts of height doing that.
Yes, clearly.
But even then, that gets me over here, which is where I want it to be. Because it's the village, I want to check that rift. Anyway. Yeah, there's that wizard again. Back to my point. Yep. Area we never came. Good. It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So, anyway, how many of you agree with our general points about Twilight Princess? I know I asked a similar question last time, but I wanted to follow up on that because I would love to get a general consensus about that game. I'm not saying it's a bad game, but it is super linear, and Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker are far more open. And I do feel like they overcorrected in Twilight Princess because they made the game edgy for the sake of being mature, and they made the game super linear, which again I don't think is a bad thing, but I do feel like the game does waste your time, whereas Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time are generally more open. Wind Waker is a little bit more linear than Ocarina of Time, but it does open up a good bit, and side quests are generally open and available, whereas Twilight Princess basically doesn't have much you can do at most points in the game, because almost all the different side quests are basically not open and available when you think they would be, and even the ones that are waste your time like crazy. Me and Sean have argued for years about getting all the bomb bags and stuff, because as soon as that's available, you can technically get all the bomb bags and all the upgrades, but you will be running back and forth for about 3 hours, and I'm sorry, that's stupid. But Sean tries to argue that you're supposed to wait until you can warp, and that doing it early is bad, but if I want to do it early, I should be allowed to do it early, because it's open and available, but the game is a massive asshole with that. And again, I don't think linearity is bad, I just think Twilight Princess is basically designed to be an antithesis to Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time, like Carson said. And I would love to know how many people agree with that, because I'm not going to call the dungeons in that game bad, but the stuff you do between dungeons is awful. And I just find it funny that Twilight Princess is super linear, and it really is the game that people often think Ocarina of Time is. And then so many of the different side quests are basically locked off or require you to do a bunch of arbitrary time-wasting nonsense. And for years, Shine never understood why me and Carson were hung up on Twilight Princess basically requiring 5 heart pieces instead of 4. Shine basically always said that's not a problem. I don't get your obsession with that. But it is a problem, and the reason it's a problem is because every other game requires 4. But in Twilight Princess, it's 5. So if you get 4, you don't get a new heart container. You need an extra heart piece. And because it's a weird, uneven number, this means the game is constantly preventing you from getting extra health. And personally, that feels like an overcorrection from Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker, because they basically don't want you getting a lot of extra hearts. So the game basically wastes your time by making you need 1 extra heart piece, meaning you're never going to have extra heart containers when you would in any other Zelda game. And when you think about it that way, you start to realize, oh my god, the 5 basically does force you to have overall less health than you would in any other Zelda game. Because imagine that you could basically get a heart container if you got 4 heart pieces. Then you realize that the game is constantly yanking your chain, pulling you along, and wasting your time. Because 5 heart pieces get you a new heart container. So you basically always end up 1 short, as if the game is trying to tell you that they don't want you getting extra health. Having more hearts is basically arbitrarily harder for no reason, and I feel like that was done specifically because Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker open up in a way where you can basically go get a ton of extra health and end up with a lot of hearts. And that Ocarina of Time Let's Play I was talking a bit about, basically before pulling the Master Sword, I had 10 hearts as a child. And all I did was run around and collect stuff, but then Twilight Princess is basically designed to prevent that by arbitrarily making you need extra heart pieces. But I'm starting to ramble. You can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments, or you can leave them all on social media. All of my social media links, as well as my Discord links, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you subscribe to the channel, and if you follow me on social media, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So, as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later.